Good evening. This is Maestro Cretella with the Dawn of War 2 Retribution Elite modcast. Today, we have a 2v2 on Medean Jungle Mines, and our first player today is Maestro Cretella, playing as the Eldar Warlock. The Eldar Warlock is kind of like a combination melee, spellcasting, and support hero. He really does do a lot of different things, and he can be very incredible. My teammate is Commissar Sebastian Yarrick, playing as the Commissar Lord. The Commissar Lord, a slightly tanky melee hero, can support his units by shooting them in the head, making them fight harder. He also has the Emperor's Wrath and some other things, as well as a free energy shield. Our opponents, first of all, we got Razbeg playing as the Techmarine. He's got his hammer and sickle. The Techmarine is a ranged hero to start out. Starts out with a very powerful bolter. He can also get some other ranged weapons like a meltagun and a plasma gun, or you can get the axe. And he supports vehicles as well. And then finally, we got Dark Riku playing as the Apothecary. The Apothecary is a healing commander who can heal, and he can also fight, but he's not that great at fighting. He's very good at healing. Alright, so this match is kind of like one of many that are practice matches that Commissar Yarrick and I have been doing. We are teaming together for the monthly Rumble tournament at the end of this month, which is a 2v2 tournament, and I'm teaming with Commissar Yarrick. So we've been trying to get some practice in, and, well, to be honest, so far it actually hasn't been going that well, but that's what practice is for. And this was one of the better games to come out of our practice sessions. And we're playing against some pretty tough opponents, certainly Dark Riku, and then Razbeg has certainly, I'd say Razbeg has proved himself in a number of cast games. Right here we've got the Commissar Lord chasing after the Tactical Marines, and certainly with that he's not really going to be, the Tactical Marines are not going to want that fight, and especially now with my Dire Avengers coming to support, I think the Tactical Marines are going to want to get out of there before they do lose a model. So overall, our team right now, blue team, taking a bit of an advantage over the red team. I think Yarrick over here, he did destroy a power node, and right over here we're definitely going to get a nice power bash off with my Howling Banshee's bashing power as well as the Commissar Lord. And I love having Howling Banshee's bash power, because first of all they're good at it, and second of all they get experience, easy experience. And then they become really, and that helps them just level up and stuff. So putting on a lot of pressure, but backing off as the Devastators are setting up. Managed to get the Howling Banshees out without getting them suppressed, but they did lose a model, and I do just retreat them out of there with Tactical Marines coming back out. Razbeg not even reinforcing them. But as you can see, I'm actually playing Eldar. That is one of my alternate heroes that I put on my list of heroes for the tournament. And I'm using it in part because I feel like I might need an alternate hero for some matchups that might be a little too difficult for the Sorcerer. We've got a double Sentinel play from Yarrick, which can often be very, very powerful. I feel like Space Marines can definitely be able to answer back with a lot of range damage. In particular here, we've got some double Tactical Marines from Riku, and we've got a Devastator with advanced targeting from Razbeg. And that advanced targeting Devastator can actually be very, very good at doing damage to Sentinels and really scaring them off. Right here, this Tactical Marine squad in a little bit of trouble. I think Razbeg really pushing his luck because he wants to keep that Flamer out on the field. It only has one model left. But again, I think he's really pushing his luck because he wants to keep that Flamer out on the field, and it could possibly cost him. I did rush over here. I think I was hoping maybe to see if I could even get the wipe on that Tactical Marine. Tried to go for the grenade, but Razbeg was already pulling out fast enough, and I wasn't able to get there in time. So I've gone for a 1-1-1-1 build. I actually got my Rangers before my Shuriken. Rangers, I think, particularly good against Space Marine, of course, because whatever I'm going to be shooting against a Space Marine player, it's going to be a very high-value shot for Rangers, certainly especially the Scouts, and then, I mean, both for the Tax and the Devastators, it's going to be really, really helpful pretty much for whenever the Ranger shoots at anything. Since I'm either taking out a Scout model or killing like one half of a model for attack, more than one half of a model for Devastators, although they won't just lose a model, usually won't lose a model just on a single shot. But putting more pressure on Razbeg again, I do have my Guardian weapon team suppressing a lot of things on approach, while my Dire Avengers just go after and try to destroy generators. And the Rangers are just going to be slowly whittling down a lot of these things, while the Guardian weapon team is really going to prevent them from actually moving forward or even past my stuff. Although Razbeg trying to make it past with his Tactical Marines could be a bit of a dangerous game, and he actually just retreats out of there, although he's pretty close to getting out of the firing arc. Meanwhile, over here, it looks like we're doing pretty well, and we've got some nice positioning. I think Yarrick is making that happy face because of the positioning of this heavy weapon team. Now, oddly enough, neither Razbeg nor Riku choosing to get Assault Marines. And Riku is playing against Imperial Guard, and I think players less often get Assault Marines against Imperial Guard. And then I'm playing against Razbeg, and Techmarine players themselves will less often get Assault Marines. That being said, I think Razbeg is actually suffering for it. He's trying to repair his generators with the Techmarine, but for the most part, he's getting pinned by the combination of my Guardian weapon team and my Ranger, and that's a combination that is very, very powerful against Space Marine. So, meanwhile over here, I'm actually abandoning the Generator Bash a little bit because, of course, I do see Razbeg going after my VP. So I decide to try to intercept him. It's going to be a little tricky for him. He's trying to position his Devastator, so that is why I'm flanking from two sides. Now, of course, I do have my Dire Avengers are going to just try to go for a grenade, and that's going to be a big problem for the Devastators. Razbeg actually managed to dodge it, which is pretty good play for him. However, I am also going to hit him with a Kinetic Pulse, and then I'm just going to move in with my Howling Banshees, and that's going to be it. That's actually really bad for him. Howling Banshees especially, I'm probably activating Swift Movement, so I don't know if he's going to get his Howling Banshees, his Devastators out of there, and in fact he doesn't. I don't know. It's been long enough since I last played this that I don't remember. So Razbeg actually really not doing well, losing his Devastators, and I've definitely said at times that that's a big part of what can be so risky about getting Devastators against Eldar. Just one flank from Howling Banshees can result in their death, even from full health, although his weren't even at full health at that time. But I still managed to get that wipe, and there was not a whole lot Razbeg could do about that. Meanwhile, Riku now definitely answering back. He switched out, no, he'd never had a Flamer, but he got a Missile Launcher, which he can use. You know, I like that purchase, actually. He got it even though Yarrick doesn't have a true vehicle out on the field. But there are some really good things about getting a Missile Launcher on a Tactical Marine, even blindly. And part of that is, first of all, you can still bash generators with it. It's a very effective generator bashing tool. It also helps him to deal with the Sentinels a little bit by giving him some burst damage against the Sentinels that will very quickly take out a chunk of Sentinel health. And he doesn't even necessarily lose the anti-infantry capabilities of his tax, especially considering he has 2 tax squads. That's Riku in his case. Razbeg, meanwhile, goes straight to a Dreadnought, and that's going to be a little tricky. We do have an Assault Cannon Dreadnought, and I feel the Assault Cannon Dreadnought is a very powerful thing. I'm going to need a bit more in terms of AV, especially considering I'm not even to Tier 2, so I'm still getting there. Yarrick already in Tier 2. He already has double missile launchers, so he can actually definitely threaten the Dreadnought a little bit. Has to be careful. An Assault Cannon Dreadnought, I also feel, can be scary to Sentinels just because it does quite a bit of damage. The Assault Cannon Dreadnought also has pretty long range. I don't remember the exact range, but it is longer than standard range. Unfortunately, right here, I was lagging during the game, and I have yet to pick up the script for... getting rid of all the lag messages, although I will. But this Dreadnought has been pretty threatening at the moment, and I'm just waiting to get... I'm alright, I'm at tier 2. I'll probably get a Bright Lance on this Guardian Weapon team, and in fact, that's what I'm doing. So, Yarrick doing his double Sentinel micro and still managing it, even only with a single Guardsman for repair. We even have a Plasma Gun, so I actually really like that purpose, and it actually looks like Riku has very much geared himself for taking out Sentinels, because he has the Melt-A-Gun, he has the Missile Launcher, and then even more importantly, he has the Plasma Gun. And that Plasma Gun is going to be very, very powerful against the Sentinel. So, but of course the Plasma Gun does not really do burst damage, and it does not snare. So, and now I'm actually helping out Riku. Managed to kill an Assault Marine model, and I do have, I mean, I'm managing to help out Commissar Yarrick, and I do have my Warlock in here now, fully upgraded, and I have a rather curious upgrade configuration. I went for the Merciless Witchblade, the Champion's Robe, and then the Channeling Rune. So that's not very common, and I often say, I've definitely often said, I've commented about people using warrior combinations for the Warlock that are a little weird in that they're, especially when they get a lot of spells in combination with the Champion's Robe. And now I have a warrior that's a spell that I'm going to be using in combination with the Champion's Robe. Unfortunately, I still lose a Banshee model, that Channeling Runes, which definitely did not save me from the Scouts. Just sniping a model instantly, and then I actually end up just retreating the Warlock out of there, now that Razbeg has gotten Bionics. And I mean, I'm sure Razbeg got Bionics because he really decided he needed to invest in something to deal with the Banshees. He suffered some pretty costly losses from the Banshees just by not really dealing with them, or not having something that could stop them. Meanwhile, we've got the Assault Cannon Dreadnought coming back out here again, while my Dire Avengers just kind of bash behind his back. Although they take so much damage from that Assault Cannon Dreadnought. Meanwhile, back over here, we've got a lot of things going on, or just a lot of stuff coming around. Oh, he actually, wow. Oh, maybe he never had a Plasma Gun tech squad. I think he just had the Stern Guard Veterans, and I saw the plus, and I thought, oh, Plasma Gun. But no, I'm sure he just had the Stern Guards, and he had Vengeance rounds loaded in them, which will do bonus damage to heavy infantry as well. Unfortunately, my Bright Lance is getting hit a bit by the that Assault Cannon Barrage, and that Assault Cannon Dreadnought. One of the great things about it, it has very good survivability for a Dreadnought. I'd say it has some, quite possibly, definitely one of the walkers that has more survivability. And I think the Assault Cannon Barrage is part of that, in part because it can be used to actually disrupt sources of AV that are threatening it, especially setup teams, because setup teams will take a lot of damage. I mean, we saw just the damage that my Bright Lance took from that. Basically, my Bright Lance really could not stay out on the field after getting hit by that Assault Cannon Barrage, or it could have risked getting killed entirely. And of course, that Assault Cannon Barrage does knockback. All right, Yarrick has a Lehman Russ out. So actually, before the Stern Guards had Kraken rounds loaded, now they have Vengeance rounds to try to deal with the vehicle, this Lehman Russ. Meanwhile, the Lehman Russ has switched to the Executioner Cannon, so real anti-infantry loadout. Meanwhile, over here, I'm still threatening Razbeg a lot. And yeah, I mean, I've been pushing Razbeg back for most of the game. I think a big part of what Razbeg has really been struggling with. Now I have both a Bright Lance and a Wraithlord, so I have two sources of AV, and that's a big part of what's threatening this Dreadnought so much. That being said, one of the things that's definitely going well for Razbeg is, as much as he's getting pushed off and having to move back, he's actually really preserving the Dreadnought. He's just not letting the Dreadnought die. It's getting repairs from his Scouts, from his Techmarine. I don't know if he's used the Blessing of the Omnissiah Global, but that's definitely something he can use as well. And I mean, I'm still staying out on the field being really oppressive, but Razbeg is still managing to at least kind of keep his Dreadnought. That's going to be very key. A little bit of lag again from me, and unfortunately Yarrick, he lost one Sentinel, and at this point I think he's going to lose the other one. His Lehman Russ actually in a ton of trouble. And this is actually really bad for Yarrick. Missile launcher going to hit. Where's the las cannon? The las cannon actually slightly out of range, but the missile launcher is still there. So are the vengeance rounds. This is really, really tough for Yarrick. He needs to really keep moving back that Lehman Russ. And I don't know, he doesn't have the missile launcher attacks tied up, and he actually does lose the Lehman Russ. So Yarrick definitely took some hits. Meanwhile, over here, I'm actually now... This is actually going to be even tougher now with Razbeg just got a Predator out. I'm still really just trying to stay out on the field, really just keep Razbeg pinned in his base. So yeah, Razbeg, I mean, he lost the generators. He's moving his attacks backward, kind of sneaking around, maybe either for a back cap or a bash. Although right now Yarrick and I do have a significant VP lead, 376 to 152. I had my Banshees actually going around to the other side. I don't remember why. But anyway, now they're probably coming back here to deal with these tactical Marines, which I probably see at this point. And that's, yeah, I definitely see them because I'm moving both my Rangers and my Howling Banshees back. Meanwhile, I've got that Predator taking shots as well as the Wraithlord taking shots, and this is actually really, really bad for me. I'm about to get doubled, and of course I'm not the Sorcerer, so I'm just going to retreat all my stuff, but unfortunately there's not a whole lot I can do to save my Wraithlord. If I were the Sorcerer, of course I would just retreat my hero and then use the Warp Global once he gets moved back fast enough, but unfortunately there's just really not much I can do. I managed to bleed those tacks down to 2 models. Yarrick is over here with his Commissar, but that's probably not going to be enough to save my Wraithlord. Wraithlord is done. So a crucial, very crucial plays, specifically by Dark Riku, since Riku had a very big victory on his side, and then he came over to my side to take out my Wraithlord. And we were in a really advantageous position, and now suddenly we're really, really not. It's 376 to 107. Razbeg and Dark Riku definitely have the army advantage at this point. Razbeg has lost scouts, he lost his Devastators, and he lost definitely many models on his tax, but he's in a very good position now with 2 very tough vehicles. And as the Techmarine, and you know, the Techmarine is even going to, with the Blessing of the Omnissiah, he can even heal Riku's Predator. And the Techmarine is just a very, very powerful teams hero, especially in 3v3, but you know, I'd say even in 2v2 he's a very, very powerful hero. In 3v3, I consider him the best 3v3 hero in the game. I don't know if I would necessarily say that about 2v2, but he's still very, very powerful in 2v2. So I've got my Warlock here. Luckily for me at least, the Merciless Witchblade special attack still does knockback to the Techmarine, and now I'm suffering quite a little bit more with only my Bright Lance. I now got a D-Cannon out, a cheap tier 3 option, and that is something that it's both a cheap tier 3 option. One of the great things about the D-Cannon is that it's really anti-all. It works against... It's very good against infantry, and it actually works as AV. So the D-Cannon very, very versatile in that respect. And although it does plasma cannon damage, much like the Blastmaster or the Plasma Cannon Devastator, however, it's actually much more accurate, which is one of the great things about it. So Yarrick now with a new Lehman Russ. This one has an Executioner Cannon. Unfortunately, he's having a little bit of trouble getting through some of my stuff. And we definitely have some AV shots going into these vehicles. And oh wow, I didn't even notice. Riku already lost his Predator. So he lost his Predator, probably from Yarrick's Las Cannon. Now we're trying to move up a little bit more. The Lehman Russ trying to go in. Of course, that Lehman Russ with the Executioner actually has very long range, longer range than most other tanks. I managed to get a revive for Yarrick. D-Cannon is taking shots again, very, very powerful against infantry, and it will do AV damage. And there's a Singularity. Razbeg just going to retreat his Devastator out of there. And I think at this point, it would actually be really, really nice. I think it would be really important for both me and Yarrick to move up, try to pursue the vehicles a little bit more. Of course, we do actually have this Devastator to worry about. So Yarrick needs to be very, very careful. I don't have any vehicles of my own, but Yarrick needs to be very careful about that Devastator. I don't know why I took the Rangers off the point. Oh yeah, it was just an accident, basically. Ooh. Yarrick now in a little bit of trouble, but I got the D-Cannon taking shots. Hopefully, D-Cannon takes a shot at the Devastators. Tried to run in with the Warlock, but that's just not going to happen, and my Rangers need to get out of there as well. Unfortunately, I don't like Yarrick bunching up near all my stuff, because we're going to get hit hard by Assault Marines at this point, and that's going to be really, really bad. I am going to try to counter-initiate with Banshees, but that's just too much stuff getting in the way of this Leman Russ, and the Leman Russ is in a ton of trouble now at this point, and I don't see this as an engagement going very, very well at all for me or Yarrick, except for the fact that we took out Razbeg's Predator. My D-Cannon now in a lot of trouble. Going to try to retreat it out of there. I call an Autarch in, and we take out the Dreadnought, so actually doing pretty well, but I lose the D-Cannon somehow. Took forever to retreat for some reason. Luckily, my Autarch, I think, helped out a little bit with some things. Called in the Autarch, and the Scout getting out with one model. We are overall getting forced off in that engagement. I should actually get okay, the important thing I'm doing is I'm having my Autarch fight the Assault Marines, even knock them over a little bit. Part of me wondered if maybe I should have actually put her on the point instead. Now I've got Razbeg behind me, decapping. He's got a melee Techmarine, which I actually find can be pretty powerful. And I don't know what I've got going on right here. My Ranger's out of position, too close to this Techmarine. Trying to just knock him over with the Merciless Witchblade special attack, which is working, actually. Here we go with an Emperor's Wrath. Techmarine miraculously still here. Alright, but I'm going to tie up the Stern Guard veterans with my Warlock. And I've got my Banshees around capturing as well. Meanwhile, over here, Yarrick going for another capture with his Guardsmen. We've still got a significant VP lead, but this game is definitely not over yet. And definitely some big plays by Riku in the mid-game when he had his big victory over Yarrick and then came over to take out my Wraithlord. Really did a lot to put Razbeg and Riku back in this game. Now, this is a little tough. I'm using Channeling Runes on my Howling Banshees, but ultimately, they're just not going to be able to really deal with the Predator. I think I kind of wanted to try to have them deal with the Predator a little bit, but now I'm actually hurting for AV a bit again. I've only got my Bright Lance. I could really use a little bit more. I lost my D-Cannon quite sadly, and I don't know what I'm doing with my Warlock, and that's going to get him killed. It's a double cap for us, but we've got some more back capping from Razbeg, and I don't really have enough to deal with this Land Raider Redeemer. Lascannon getting in a lot of trouble now, getting chased down by that heavy weapon team. And meanwhile, my Autarch is in here trying to tie up, trying to deal with the Assault Marines, which are being absolutely brutal against all of the AV units that are trying to deal with this Land Raider Redeemer. And this Land Raider Redeemer is actually really pushing us back right now, and now suddenly Razbeg and Riku have a triple cap. Plasma Cannon Shot going in, they're really pushing us back. Yarrick going to go for a back cap with his Commissar Lord with the Fist of Brachus, and we still have missile launchers going in on that Leman Russ. I'm trying to repair it with my Dire Avengers. And now we have a second Leman Russ from Yarrick, also getting the Vanquisher Cannon. But this Land Raider Redeemer gonna be pretty threatening because they're just gonna retreat right here in the middle, and that's gonna be just really tough to deal with. Meanwhile, at this point, I'm probably considering saving up for an Eldritch Storm to help deal with that Land Raider Redeemer. I have most likely been using Warlock Globals, mainly swift movement, and if I'm really smart, I would also use Distort Field, but I don't think I do. Alright, Commissar Lord managed to get the cap off, but it's only a 1-to-1, so right now we're not getting the VPs back in our favor. We're just evening it out, and I'm actually just putting the Autarch on the point right here. I put the Warlock on the point. I figured he wouldn't finish the cap, so I tried to put the Autarch on the point to finish it after he had to go. But unfortunately, Razbeg was there, disrupted my Autarch with Bionics, and oh man, now there are Terminators. These are they're from Razbeg. And he decided to also get a heavy flamer on those Terminators, and now he's really pushing us back. And what can I do? Even my Howling Banshees would be in way too much trouble. So we're really getting pushed back right now. And this is kind of that Space Marine snowball effect that has been definitely referenced, especially back when Space Marine Terminators could level. Basically, and I think basically what that means is just if you let Space Marines get to tier 3 and they start just getting more and more stuff, they just start becoming more and more unstoppable. And I feel like we're kind of seeing that right here. And it's just getting really... We were definitely taking the advantage over Razbeg and Riku early on in the game. They managed to hold out into tier 3, and Riku in particular managed to take things back with some critical plays, and now they're just getting to a point where just with all the stuff they have, it's going to be really, really tough to deal with them. Razbeg goes for a back cap with his Techmarine, however, he loses his Techmarine just with so much... I basically committed all my forces right there. Yeah, not basically, I literally committed all of my forces right there. Meanwhile, Yarrick kind of standing back with his Lehman Russes. He... in part because he's repairing with his heavy weapon team. Meanwhile, over here, I'm now trying to rush forward a little bit. My Howling Banshees, I think, being a little brazen. They might get hit by Frag Assault. That's really bad for them. Ooh, I think the Frag Assault missed just as Riku turned his... I don't know why I'm moving up like this. This is unfortunately not that smart. The best thing that's going on is just that we're doing a lot of damage to the Land Raider Redeemer now and actually scaring it off a little bit. However, Razbeg is definitely around, ready for a flank. I lost something. Oh, I lost my Autarch. And unfortunately, this positioning is now absolutely killing me and Yarrick. Ooh, and we've got some advanced healing from the Apothecary, and that's ending up being really, really tough in combination with this Land Raider Redeemer. I still don't have enough for an Eldritch, unfortunately. And here we go with the Manticore Strike, but one of the Lehman Russes still goes down. Missile attacks do get scared off. Where is the Techmarine? Techmarine is over here, but now Razbeg really pushing in over here. And I wonder if he's going to even take out this Lehman Russ. But now we're really, really struggling. And Riku and Razbeg have really evened things out. Riku in particular has just amassed such a huge army. He is at 92 population. And Razbeg is also getting he's going to get the cap, and that's going to make it a triple cap. They're going to have a triple cap at a time when we really have no time. So I at least scare off the Techmarine, but it's now pretty much do or die. I need to get this cap off down here. We need to also decap this point. Unfortunately, I think that's going to be the end of this Lehman Russ. A Melt-A-Bomb probably going to go in. There goes the Melt-A-Bomb, and that's the end of the Lehman Russ. Meanwhile, I'm pushing in right here, going to get at least my decap off, and these Terminators are in trouble now because there are Seer Council. And, oh, we actually took out... No, wait. We did not take out the Lehman Russ or the Land Raider. Definitely took out some things. Unfortunately, I don't think my Warlock is going to last very long right here. And, yeah, he's definitely going to die. I'm trying to keep him in right here. The Land Raider Redeemer actually in a little bit of trouble, getting hit by a Manticore Strike, and finally goes down. But I don't know if what we can do right here. Actually sending my Seer Council in, trying to finish dealing with the Terminators, but I think they're going to actually have to get out of there at some point. And I do an Eldritch Storm purely in desperation, hoping to get these attacks off the point. Evened it out at 9 to 38, but we have nothing on the field. Yarrick actually going for a decap over here with his las cannon heavy weapon team of all things. But meanwhile over here we've got some Stern Guard veterans coming for a back cap. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do enough to stop that, and I don't know if I even realize it soon enough. Trying to have my Rangers over here. Oh, I try to go for... Here's what I try to do. What? No, wait. I thought I tried to go for a kinetic pulse there, but apparently not. And it's now a 1-to-1 again But we've got the Stern Guard veterans capturing over here, as well as some Terminators decapping, and that's going to be it for us, because we're not going to be able to stop these caps soon enough. A double cap in favor of Razbeg and Riku, 2 to nothing at this point. And that ends up being the game in favor of Razbeg and Riku. Quite a comeback made by them. Well, a little disappointing for us, but I hope you enjoyed the cast. Have a good night.